The battle may be over in Parliament, but the political fallout is only beginning following the passage of Constitutional Amendment Bill. One opposition lawmaker has spoken out, admitting that defeat was expected, but insisting that the resistance was necessary. Honorable Gladys Lachwayo says the opposition knew they would likely lose the vote because of divisions within opposition ranks. However, she says she is proud that those who opposed the bill delivered what she described as an emphatic no. Her remarks are now fueling fresh debate about the future of opposition politics and the controversial CAB 3 legislation. Stay tuned. And before we continue, please subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications for daily Zimbabwe political news and analysis. Let's get into it.
Like I've always said, it's not like we didn't know that we were going to lose this vote. We knew because of the illegal recourse that were conducted. We lost 38 of our members who were pushed out of Parliament illegally, and in their place, certain pliable individuals were then brought into Parliament, and like you saw, they then voted with ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF actually didn't have the 187 members that were needed to pass this bill. They only had 181. Those were the members that were in the House. So they had to rely on, the so-called opposition, that is not so opposition, to get to the 187 mark that was needed. So we feel happy that at least we were able to cast our, vote. Yes, we didn't win the vote, but I think we gave an emphatic no, in terms of our rejection of the bill. And we will continue to push beyond Parliament. Parliament is just one theatre of the struggle. There are other theatres of the struggle, mobilizing communities and so on, to make sure that we do not see the democratic regression that we are seeing at the present moment.
The people of Zimbabwe have spoken, and as parliamentarians, we represent the people that voted us, and they have spoke positively towards the passing of the bill, and we are very much excited. Even members of the opposition, members of Parliament, they have also spoken the will of the Zimbabweans through voting for the bill. So it's an exciting moment for Zimbabwe, and it's an exciting moment for us as a nation, where we have realigned our constitutional democracy with the modern democratic trends. Thank you.
What transpired yesterday is that opposition were on the third reading, which is the vote. So on the vote, opposition MPs voted, who voted yes, who voted no to CAB 3, were actually fought to against the other MPs who voted yes to 216. But I want you to understand this arithmetic, this kind of mathematics. This, if opposition had voted in unison, it is something not have got a majority. Because for this bill to get a majority, it requires 187 MPs in line with section 328 subsection 5 of our national constitution. So unfortunately, this MPF was aided by our opposition colleagues, who actually gave them the necessary vote to cross into the two-thirds majority. So I'm very happy that we have did our part, we have did our best in debate, we have did our best in the vote. So by and large, we will find other avenues of fighting this. We still believe that there is a lot of unconstitutionalism in this bill, and for that matter, therefore, majority cannot take away our constitutional ability or the constitutionalism of it. So by and large, we will explore new methods or other methods of fighting this bill. I thank you.
It's finished the National Assembly process of voting after the third reading of the bill. I'm sure you are quite aware of what was happening yesterday when we entered the committee stage, and we attended to the issues arising from the bill, debated clause by clause, and today was the voting day. And those who were opposed to the bill, the number of MPs counted to 42, and those that were in support of the bill, the number of MPs counted to 216, which 216 number was made up of ZANU-PF MPs and the MPs who are pro-ZANU-PF but yet call themselves the opposition. These are what we call the Charang MPs. It's a very sad day for constitutional development in this country. Of course, the process is not yet ended. It is still going to be traversed, and a vote is going to be taken again in Senate. But at the same time, we still insist that this constitutional amendment, which speaks to the very architecture of our constitutional democracy, and matters that are being amended are matters which ordinarily must go to a referendum. So we don't believe that this process has ended. There are queries around how this process was undertaken. There are queries around how the consultations were undertaken, and we believe that there still remains numerous avenues for the citizens of this country to take charge of this constitutional process and to continue to defend the constitutional integrity of our country. Thank you very much.
As Zimbabwe continues reacting to the passage of Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, opposition legislator Honorable Gladys Latchwayo has offered a candid assessment of what happened inside Parliament. Speaking after the bill secured the required two-thirds majority, Latchwayo acknowledged that opponents of CAB 3 faced an uphill battle from the very beginning. According to her, opposition forces entered the vote knowing that the numbers were not in their favor. The bill ultimately passed with 216 members of parliament voting in favor and 42 voting against. The result represented a significant victory for supporters of the constitutional amendments. However, for lawmakers who opposed the bill, the vote was never simply about winning. It was also about making their position clear. And that is exactly what Latchwayo says happened. According to the opposition MP, divisions within opposition ranks made it difficult to mount a united challenge against the bill. Political analysts have long pointed to fragmentation among opposition parties as one of the biggest challenges facing anti-CAB 3 forces. Different political groups often share concerns about constitutional reforms but struggle to coordinate strategy and messaging. Despite that reality, Latchwayo says she is proud of those legislators who stood firm and voted against the bill. She argues that their opposition ensured that alternative viewpoints were represented during one of the most important constitutional debates in recent years. For supporters of the No campaign, the vote was about defending principles they believe are essential to Zimbabwe's democratic future. The comments have sparked discussion about what comes next. With CAB 3 now moving to the Senate, opposition lawmakers face another challenge as they seek to influence the next stage of the legislative process. Whether they can build greater unity remains one of the biggest questions in Zimbabwean politics. For now, Latchwayo's message is clear. The opposition may have lost the vote. But in her view, the fight to express dissenting voices and challenge constitutional changes was still worth fighting. Do you agree with Hon Gladys Latchwayo that the opposition put up a strong fight despite losing the vote? Can opposition parties become more united going forward? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this report, please subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications for daily Zimbabwe political news and analysis. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.